You ever see this happen? A car horn blares, and one person practically jumps out of their skin while the person right next to them barely even flinches. It's a funny little puzzle, right? Well, the answer is way more interesting than you'd think. What's actually happening in that split second is a crazy fast race against time inside your own head. So let's break it down.
So, let's just get right to the big question. Why the huge difference? Is it that some people have better hearing? Are they just born with nerves of steel? Or is there something else, something deeper, going on in our brains? Today, we're going to solve this thing.
I mean, we all know these two people, right? You've got the jumper on one side, who leaps at every unexpected sound. And then you have the unflappable, who just seems totally immune to it all. The real kicker here is that the difference between them isn't in their ears, it's all in their brains.
And that brings us right to the heart of the Startle puzzle. We're about to unpack the neuroscience behind why you jump, and it all starts with that race against time that's happening inside your own head right now.
This quote really nails it. The secret isn't about one person hearing a sound earlier than another. Nope. It's all about how your brain acts like this incredibly fast bouncer, instantly deciding if a sound is a threat or if it's just, noise. Okay, so let's look at how you normally hear things. A sound hits your ear, shoots to your brainstem, and then makes its way to your auditory cortex. That's the part where you actually recognize the sound. This whole trip takes about 10 to 30 milliseconds. Seems pretty fast, right? Well, hold that thought. Because the startle reflex, that's a completely different animal. It's this ancient, super primitive shortcut that totally bypasses conscious thought. The signal goes from your ear to your brainstem, and then bam, straight to your muscles. And look at that time, 8 to 10 milliseconds. It's a VIP lane for reflexes. Get this. This means your body gets the signal to jump before your brain has even figured out what the sound is. You are physically reacting before you've consciously heard and understood the noise. Just let that sink in for a second. It's a pure, raw, unfiltered reflex. So, if that reflex is so automatic, why aren't we just jumping around all day long? Well, that's because the more advanced parts of your brain step in to act as the manager. It's got this whole thing under control.
The process is called cortical inhibition, which is just a fancy way of saying your brain has a jumpiness volume knob. Your cortex, the smarty pants part of your brain, hears that car horn, recognizes it instantly, and sends a memo down to the brainstem that says, hey, relax, we know this guy, it's not a tiger. And just like that, it turns the volume way down on that raw startle reflex.
So the huge takeaway here is this. People who don't jump all the time don't have super hearing. What they have is a more efficient, better trained brain filter. It's learned from experience how to tell the brainstem to chill out, and it does it almost instantly.
Okay, so if our brain has this amazing built-in system for managing sound and surprise, could you theoretically hack it? Could you design a sound that intentionally plays with this brain filter instead of fighting against it? Oh yeah, the answer is 1000% yes.
And that, my friends, brings us into the secret world of sound design. This is where audio engineers and artists have been quietly hacking this very reflex for decades, all to make movies, music, and games feel more powerful without being painful or jarring.
So how in the world do they pull this off? Well, to stop you from being startled by a really loud sound, designers add a tiny, almost impossible to hear cue just milliseconds before it happens. In music, it could be the tick of the drumstick hitting the snare right before the big crack. In a movie, it might be the whisper of fabric right before a punch lands. Your conscious brain completely misses it, but your auditory system hears it and braces for impact. And here's where it really clicks. A raw, jarring sound has no lead-in cue. It just hits you like a brick wall. But a properly designed sound, it has that tiny 1 to 30 millisecond heads up. It gently shapes the beginning of the sound, and that transforms your reaction from being startled and annoyed to feeling impact. It's powerful, but it doesn't hurt. So how are they doing this with such insane precision? Well, engineers have a very specific set of digital tools on their computers, all designed to mess with these first crucial milliseconds of a sound. This is basically their digital toolkit. Things like transient shapers let them soften that initial sharp slap of a sound. Soft knee compressors let them ease into it instead of just slamming it on. And look-ahead limiters are just amazing. They can literally see the loudest part of a sound coming a few milliseconds before it happens, giving them time to smooth it out for you. It's all about controlling that tiny, tiny moment of impact.
And when you boil it all down, it comes back to this one incredible idea: the unbelievable power of milliseconds. We're not talking seconds here, not even tenths of a second. The entire difference between a sound that feels good and a sound that makes you wince can happen in a few thousandths of a second.
I mean, how small are we really talking? Get this, just 3 milliseconds. Adding a fade-in that is so fast you could never consciously hear it is enough to completely change how your brain reacts to a sound. It reduces the harshness, it kills the jump response. 3 1,000ths of a second. It's wild.
And really, that's the secret we've uncovered. The key to controlling how a sound feels isn't in the loud part you actually hear. It's in that silent, invisible preparatory moment right before it all goes down. It's this perfect dance between neuroscience and sound artistry.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If sound is being shaped with this much precision to guide our reactions and our feelings, what other invisible designs are out there subtly influencing how we experience the world around us every single day? Something to think about.